So today on our Wednesday's fish species. Obviously, last week I wanted to say I want to start doing more kind of not like your typical fish, not like tetras, golites, neon tetras, cories. Like I just don't want to do any of like the common fish, which we will eventually do all those. It's just I kind of want to start doing like each week do something a little different because there's no point in making like how to care for neon tetras when there's like probably 100 videos on YouTube about neon tetras. Plus, I already got one on this channel, but I'll eventually, do it again. It's just for now, I kind of want to, be different. And most of these fish, there are plenty of videos on too, but I kind of still want to, change it up, and I can learn something and get, refresh your mind on some of these fish, and some of you might learn something. So when I get my gloss scrubber in the mail, I'll be able to take all this gray. I kind of was doing it with my hand over here. See, it's like more, well, I guess you can't really see because this is in the way. But I just did a water change, so it is a little dirty. I just legit got done with it like 10 minutes ago. Probably should have got all these air bubbles out. But, if you step back, it's actually doesn't look that bad. It's just, you can see one of my fingers. I try to like mess with it, but yeah, it's just part of having a bow front though. So today, I thought I could do a kind of a cool one that not probably all of you probably not seen really in person. I actually have not too long ago, and I thought it was pretty cool. And it's the black ghost knife fish. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like I don't know how I'd best describe it. It's kind of like to me, it's like a rope fish / stingray hybrid. That's kind of how I think of it as. And I got a picture right here on Live Aquaria. And I'll pull up more pictures in a second after this, but it's basically just like a pitch midnight black body with, a little bit of white at the tail. But it's pretty interesting looking. It's obviously, a bottom fish, and they originate from South America. So, and the care level, I'm gonna put this as an intermediate fish. It even could be advanced, but I've never kept one to really, I guess, say what I think. But so these fish are semi-aggressive to aggressive. It kind of just depends on which one you get. I mean, you could get a super aggressive one, you could get one that's not so aggressive. It's kind of like any fish, a beta might be super aggressive, might be not so aggressive. So it just kind of depends. And the ghost knife is actually a fish that was almost gonna be in this tank. I almost picked one up when I saw it at my pet store like 2 months ago. I almost ended up getting it. It was only like $20, which is actually pretty cheap for this fish. Usually they can go around. I guess $20 isn't that bad, but if you go on like Live Aquaria, they're usually like $25, and that's obviously you have to get shipping and everything. But expect to pay like 20 to 30 at your pet store. And they're probably going to be a more local fish store fish. I doubt like Petco or PetSmart would ever sell a fish like this. They might, but so this tank, they do get like 1.5 feet to maybe 2 foot. That is all depends on how you care for it and what you give it. So, but I would say minimum 100. If really, you could probably start off on this fish a 55 gallon, but it's not gonna, if you give it good care, you're probably not gonna last long in that tank. So by the time it's adult, or really for it to be happy, 150 gallons to 200. Because a 2 feet fish, I mean, you kind of have to think about it, how big 2 feet actually really is. So, I mean, let's give you a little example. This is a foot. So, I mean, if you do this, okay, so let's start right here. So if you look at this dresser, 2 feet would be to right here to here. And you could see my tank's actually like 31 inches long, so it's about, it's probably about like right here to my tank. So you can see it would stretch across this almost whole tank, which is kind of crazy to think about that fish being that big, getting that big. But that's kind of something you have to be aware of because they will get that. The one I've seen was like 8 inches, but that wasn't very that big. But water conditions, same temperature, like most of these fish don't change, 70, 82. Um, pH, just, your normal tropical, 6.5, 7.5. Hardness, 0 to 10. And their diet is a carnivore, so you might want to have, I don't know if like they eat snails, but I know they'll eat like bloodworms, but I don't think they'll eat really pellets, so probably live food is probably best for these fish. But let's see here. Trying to look at pictures here. But a good tank setup for this fish would be a fine, gravel. Probably best is sand, honestly. I wouldn't put it in gravel. That's probably not the greatest idea. Meaning it's a bottom fish. Most bottom fish need sand, so it's just anything that's soft for them. Plenty of rocks and just places to hide because at first they are going to be scared and you could probably kill them by stressing them out. So make sure you have eat those Plecto Ks work. You probably want to get like something that's really big though, like a big old tube or something that can be in your tank because they will be shy for a long time, but eventually you can get these fish so tame that you can actually pet them and hold them in your hand. So not take them out of the tank, but you know what I mean. If it came with the glass, you can actually pet it and it won't do anything to you. It won't be scared or anything. But one of these things, this fish is kind of, it's not big on lighting, so meaning you don't want to be having some big LED shining bright on this tank. So putting plants in a tank with this, especially it getting so big, honestly, I would not put plants unless unless it's like just like something like Java Fern or Nubius that don't need a lot of light, and you're like attaching them to like the rocks or driftwood. That's probably fine, but except they don't like except they don't like bright light, you're probably not going to end up ever keeping any major plants or more plants that need more light. So plus it'd probably dig up the plants anyways. I mean, I really doubt if a fish like that would leave plants alone. I mean, I have a 3-inch plecto that or 4-inch plecto that will find ways to dig up these plants all the time. So I only can imagine what a 2-foot fish could do. So basically like a hardscape, kind of like what I have. I just have minimum plants. I mean, I don't have a lot of plants in here, but just like what I have, maybe some driftwood would be fine. You just have to make sure you have quite a bit of hiding spots for this fish. But I mean, if you take good care of it, though, I mean, it shouldn't honestly be like the most difficult thing to take care of. It's just like any other bottom fish, but you know, in the long run, they could be very good pets. But you just have to make sure that you give it the care it needs, or it's really not going to live long. But here's this is kind of a picture of its face. It's kind of weird looking, but you know. But it really is kind of more interesting fish. Like you don't really see fish like this every day. There it is with, and that is the other thing. I didn't really talk about tank mates and all that, but it can be with all these smaller fish. Except I don't think it would eat anything. You just kind of have to be cautious about that because I mean, I don't know if I would trust this thing, especially if I had a big one, but. So that's kind of a little rundown of a ghost knife. So if you guys got any questions, about the ghost knife, you can ask me, or just use Google. But yeah, if you guys want to see any fish for next week, if you guys got any weird fish you want me to talk about, that'd be kind of cool for everybody to see. You can put that in the comments. Obviously, top 5's always open for suggestions, so put that in the comments, and then plant series. um, we need, plants for that. So if you have any good ideas for what plants we could talk about that, are kind of unusual too, because I kind of want to talk about plant. That's why I did kind of the cardinal plant. Not the most rare plant, but it's, it was kind of different. So yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.